Hey, what's good, folks? It's RFG back at it today. And this particular video today, I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm going to go full force. Okay, we have a full-blown agent in the so-called conscious community. And I'm just going to refer to him as Tommy Sotomayor Jr. Okay, we have a Tommy Sotomayor Jr. in the conscious community. And somebody sent me a video of him making a case for an African baby being part animal for crawling on all fours. He basically tried to compare an African baby crawling on all fours to a European toddler crawling on all fours. And he made himself look like a complete fool, a complete idiot. And he definitely exposed himself as having a government agenda. You know what I'm saying? Because what he was trying to do was he's trying to debunk the notion of genetic splicing. He's trying to say that all humans are created equal, and so-called Caucasians are in the same category as someone who would be considered so-called Black or African American. Okay, he's trying to make a case that we're all equal. And once again, I'm gonna have to come here to clear things up and to bust up the bullshit. Okay, now from these two pictures right here, we can clearly see there are some discrepancies with this man's argument. He's trying to compare a baby crawling on all fours to a deformed Caucasian toddler crawling on all fours. Why is this a normal baby? This is the normal baby because the legs right here are the size they're supposed to be, okay, compared to the size of their arms. There's nothing abnormal or out of the norm about the size of this baby's legs, okay? So this is a normal African baby crawling on the ground. All babies crawl. So that means that these people, these agents out here on YouTube, they're getting very desperate. They're getting very, very, very desperate. And they have huge ulterior motives behind their agendas. You see? So when you have a motherfucker out here like me, you see what I'm saying, giving you this profound information, this profound truth, you're going to have people that try to counter it, especially, you see what I'm saying, when they're being offered money by YouTube to spread misinformation in the first place, you see. So right here, we can clearly see on the Caucasian child, his legs are elongated. His legs are extremely elongated, okay? And that raises the question, which is, is this individual mutated or have some kind of genetic defect? Okay, right here we see elongated, we see an irregular out of shape spinal column, and we see elongated legs right here. We cannot say the same thing for the African baby. This is a normal African baby crawling on the ground. Okay, but I'm gonna get even deeper, because this individual that we're dealing with right here, the individual I'm referring to, I'm just gonna call him, we all know who I'm talking about, but I'm just gonna call him Tommy Sotomayor Jr. He's the Tommy Sotomayor of the conscious community. Okay, he posted this to try to make a claim to say that black people crawl on all fours just like the Caucasians did in Europe. Okay, so he showed this picture. All right, now this is a great deceiver. You have to understand how deceivers really work. You see what I'm saying? This guy is a real gifted deceiver, because when you click on the link of the website that posted this picture, this is what you get. Okay, and this is what the guy had to say about it. All right, Is walking a learned behavior or instinct? Like almost everything we do, it's both. Newborn babies have a neonatal walk reflex. So some babies start walking from day one, the minute they step out of the womb. But they can't actually balance or hold their own weight. So it's a bit like saying Irishmen can walk home from the pub. Yes, there is a basic motor reflex, but it's not really what you'd call walking. And at the other extreme, feral children who grow up among four-legged animals will walk on all fours and struggle to learn how to walk upright. Okay? But these are extremes, which means they are extreme cases. They are not the norm. Okay? As a species, humans are walkers. Humans are walkers. Okay? So right here, the person who posted this article is clearly saying that this picture of an African on all fours is because this individual right here was raised around animals on all fours. Okay? It has nothing to do with this child or this individual being born with a genetic defect. It has everything to do with learned behavior. And this is a biological fact. You guys can research this yourself. If you have a baby human, who is raised around four-legged animals, okay, that baby by nature is going to mimic its environment. That baby is going to mimic its environment. And when it sees the animals walking on all fours, of course, the baby who doesn't know any better is going to walk on all fours as well. So this is how you get this right here. And the guy who posted this article says it himself, that these are extremes. These are extreme cases, which means they are very rare. They are extremely rare among the so-called African community. And I'll go even further. Ladies and gentlemen, cases like this are non-existent in the United States. Let me repeat myself. Cases like this are non-existent amongst so-called black people in the Americas. You can't find me one motherfucking picture of a black person in America who was born like this. Okay? So let's flip the script. Let's flip the script now. And let's go to the entire villages of Caucasians who have been found to still be walking on all fours, just like they did, a few thousand years ago. Okay? And they have many pictures of this. You got this village in Australia. You got villages in Europe. You got people in East India. Okay? You have certain people in Canada who are born walking on all fours. Okay, this is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new. All right, and there's many other pictures. I had a different picture. Okay, here's another one right here. I had many different pictures on my Instagram, but there are many cases of so-called Caucasian people or so-called East Indian people being born with elongated legs that bend in the opposite fashion that they're supposed to bend, and they bend, okay, just like canine legs, okay. And this, and I really don't want to offend anybody, but this is the cold hard truth. This is why, so many so-called Caucasians or other ethnic groups are, happen to be so close to canines. Okay, there is a DNA link. But we can go even further if the person actually wants to debate on this topic. Okay? You can't find me one so-called black person in the Americas with a case of hypertrichosis. You can't find me one black person in the Americas with a case of hypertrichosis. You can find East Indian people. You can find so-called Arab people. You can find so-called Caucasian people that have this so-called genetic defect. But you can't find me one so-called black person in the Americas with this anomaly. Okay, this is because these particular people picked up a genome, okay, from one of their ancestors that had either dog or ape DNA spliced into their genetics. They picked up one of their ancestors' genomes, okay, that had canine or ape DNA spliced into their genetics. You also can't find me any so-called black person in the Americas that is born with a tail. This video is dedicated to Tommy Sotomayor, Jr. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Sotomayor Jr. Test his ass. You know what I'm saying? Don't watch these videos just for entertainment, people. People, snap out of it. Don't watch these videos just for entertainment. I know the information is so profound and it makes you very excited, okay? But you need to get focused, gather this information together, and present this to Tommy Sotomayor Jr. because Tommy Sotomayor Jr. is spreading false information. And he's doing that for a YouTube check. He's doing that shit for a YouTube check. And somebody needs to check his ass for spreading that false information. Okay? Okay? So tell Tommy Sotomayor Jr. to find a so-called black person in the Americas that is born with a tail. That's born with a tail. Come on. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him an opportunity. Okay? I want Tommy Sotomayor Jr. to show me a so-called black person in the Americas that's growing a horn out of their head, a cutaneous horn. Okay? How the fuck do you explain this? Okay? This defies all of evolutionary theory. This defies everything that they teach in mainstream biology and mainstream science. Okay? And mainstream genetics. This defies all that. This proves without a doubt that somewhere down the line in this man's genetics, one of his ancestors was spliced with goat or ram DNA. Goat or ram DNA. Okay? And there are multiple people with the same anomaly. Okay? Cutaneous horns. And you can't find me one so-called black person in the Americas with this genetic defect, or it's not a genetic defect, it's actually genetic splicing. Okay? And for everyone who wants to deny genetic splicing, you're just fooling yourself. You're making yourself look like a fool, because there's also multiple people in Indonesia and Southeast Asia that are growing plant appendages on their body. They're growing plant bark on their damn body. Okay? Because they picked up that genome from those particular ancestors thousands and thousands of years ago. This is where they got the idea for Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is where they get the idea for the Green Martians, because there existed a group of beings who were plant-like humanoids. Okay? And for other people out there who want to deny genetic splicing, well, you're going to have to explain that to the Kemetic ancestors. Okay? In Kemet, they had gods, they had actual gods and goddesses with animal DNA that was spliced into their genome. Okay? And one of the only gods that didn't have their genetics spliced was Osiris. Okay, Osiris also had the highest neuromelanin count out of most of the other gods. Osiris did, aka Asar. And the children in America, the so-called black people in America, we are the children of Osiris. We are the children of Osiris. This is why we are the most hated group of people on the earth. Okay? And like I said, I'm not going to disagree with Tommy Sotomayor Jr. When he says that there are Africans that are genetically spliced. Folks, I spoke on this back in 2017. 3 years ago, I spoke on this. Okay, there are groups in Africa, like the Vodoma tribe, that are born with ostrich feet, and you can't call it just a regular genetic defect because the entire village is born with ostrich feet. Okay, thousands, every single member of the tribe has ostrich feet. The only way you can explain that is genetic splicing. So when you think about it, the reason that, so-called black people have been the most persecuted people, the black people of the Americas are the most persecuted people in human history. The so-called black people in the Americas are the most persecuted and hated people in human history, in world history. Why is that? It is because the so-called black people of the Americas are children of the god Osiris, and we have the least amount of animal genetics in our genome than any other group of people on the earth. Okay? So basically, the black people, so-called black people in America, are the most closely related people to the Anunnaki out of any other group of people on the earth. It is not, folks, it's not even the black people in Africa. It's the black people right here in America. Okay? Just because this people have the same dark skin complexion, that really doesn't even mean anything. Okay? See, the pigmentation in the skin, that's eumelanin. That's eumelanin. Okay? The actual melanin count that determines how strong your aura is, how strong your soul and your spirit is, that depends on your neuromelanin count. How hyperactive your pineal gland is, and the melanin being produced in your blood. Okay? The so-called black people in the Americas have the highest neuromelanin count in their blood, which gives them the strongest auras on the earth. Okay? This is why billionaire NFL owners and NBA owners, they don't really go overseas to get players. When you compare the number of the black people that they draft in America compared to overseas, it's not even a question. Okay? You're talking about the most dominant athletes on the earth. You're talking about the people who set the trends for society on the earth. You're talking about the most innovative people on the earth. Okay? That would be the so-called black people in the Americas. You see, this is the true identity of the black people in the Americas. The true identity is Washita. Washita. M-U-U-R, not M-O-O-R, not M-O-O-R, M-U-U-R. Okay? Indigenous Washita. And yes, guess what? This nationality is recognized by the United Nations, because even the United Nations knows it's the truth. It's the cold hard truth. Okay? So, this is why so-called black people in Americas are hated, because our ancestors were ruling in Egypt. Not only were they in Egypt, they actually ruled in Egypt. Okay? Big difference. So when you talk about the descendants of the gods and the descendants of the pharaohs, you're talking about the so-called black people in the Americas. And it makes sense. It all makes sense because think about it. Out of all the people they chose to enslave, why choose the so-called black people in America? They could have chose other groups of people in Africa. They could have chose the Arabs. They could have chose the East Indians. They could have chose the Hispanics. They could have chose the Islanders. They could have chose the Asians, but they didn't. They chose the black people in the Americas, and they chose to rob the resources of the Americas. Why? Why is that? Why is that? That is because they know who we are. They know who we are, and they knew for them to gain control over the earth, they had to enslave, okay, the most dominant, the strongest people of the earth, the people who set the societal trends for the earth. Okay, the cells, the dark cells of the earth, which are the so-called black people of the Americas, with the least amount of animal genetics in their genome, okay, because we are descendants of the god Osiris, okay. This is why we're hated. And like I said, if Tommy Sotomayor Jr. wants to debate this fact, just go tell Tommy Sotomayor Jr. to find me the Caucasian Henrietta Lacks. If we're all the same, why are there a group of there are a group of people who can receive no natural energy from the sunlight? The sun gives every living organism on this earth life. Okay? The certain group of people I'm talking about, they can receive no natural energy from the sun. This is a fact. Then Tommy Sotomayor Jr. is going to try to counter that, and he's going to say, oh, well, there's black people out there who get sunburned. Well, I'll just say, Tommy Sotomayor Jr., if you are a melanated person and you put alkaline fruits, vegetables, and water in your body, and your blood is alkaline, there is no way you can get sunburn. So let me repeat that. If you are a melanated person and your blood is alkaline, there is no way you can get sunburned. That is a biological fact. That is a forensic and biological fact. Okay? Because I don't deal with emotion. I don't deal, with all this bullshit, false, fabricated information. I don't do what I do to make people feel good. I get the truth out by any means necessary. And when I see bullshit, I call that shit out. So, Tommy Sotomayor Jr., you heard me. If you want to debate me, see, we already had a debate, but you let your emotions get the best of you, so you were forced to forfeit that debate. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to lose your second debate, you're going to have to debate me on my platform. You're going to have to come to my platform, and you're going to have to show me the Caucasian Henrietta Lacks. Okay? Henrietta Lacks proves that the so-called black people of the Americas have Titan DNA, have DNA that comes directly from the pharaohs and the gods. And you're gonna have to come to my platform and show me what you got, because it looks like you're out here perpetrating a fraud, okay? Trying to give the people misinformation. You know what I'm saying? Posting this bullshit picture. You can't find me an entire village, a whole entire village of Africans that are built like this. Okay? The guy who posted this picture said these are extreme cases of this particular instance. And then Tommy Sotomayor Jr., you got desperate and posted a picture of an African baby crawling on all fours, saying, look, they're just like the spliced Caucasians in Europe. Bruh, I don't know why people come to me and tell me about the bullshit. You guys just need to unsubscribe from these people. No, seriously, don't even like it's cool that you told me, but don't be so quick to do that. Just make sure you unsubscribe from those people before you even show me the shit. Okay? Because you can't show me entire villages of black people in the Americas crawling on all fours. You can't show me not one goddamn so-called black person in the Americas, okay, with hypertrichosis. You can't show me one black person in the Americas with a fucking tail, growing a fucking tail. You can't show me one black person in the Americas with a motherfucking cutaneous horn. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I call that checkmate. I call that checkmate. I said what I said, and I meant what I said. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Please like, share, and subscribe. It's the Chosen One, man. I'm out.